Hello, welcome to Relatively Speaking 2020. My name is Rosemary. I'm going to do a collective card read on the templates that are currently running in the collective itself. Um, Again, if you're not aware, we actually have with some mirroring kind of in the way normal. This way, this way. So we literally actually have a people who are seeing more of the 3D. They're seeing again more of the 3D, the materialistic world. It's not to say it is bad or good. It is their path that they choose and how they choose it. Um, and we do see a lot of that happening to again push into more people's spaces that want to be more spiritually free in a way, right? So we're in a more spiritual side. So we have these in a way lower vibe, fear based, you want to call them hell-based states because fear is actually what hell is. Hell is fear, it's shame, it's guilt, um, and actually the higher vibes are the bliss, right? That's the heaven space. And then there's this middle ground, right, where we can dive in between both of them as a cosine sine wave, and they're mirroring each other, meaning that as above, so below, as within, so without. So as we make a move on the top here in a spiritual sense, it does affect the 3D space. And as the 3D space goes in those templates, or running those timelines, they're actually also affecting our space, right? It's mirrored, and mirrored in an inverse way. One of the biggest things I'd like to talk about too is we actually have this as we progress into a spiritual space, bringing the heaven space in through us, it comes in, manifests to us. We're not going anywhere. For those that think that they're going off planet or such, we're actually bringing it here. We're bringing whatever you want to call it, 5D, 5D being fifth dimensional unconditional love, right? No conditions. Fourth D is time. Um, so as we bring in the heaven space through us, resonated out, it comes in. A lot of us get visions, synchronicities, numbers, and as that comes in through spirit into our heart space and out into the world as we manifest, um, what happens is it affects a 3D space. It brings balance back to Earth, to Gaia. So even what we see of climate change and climate control in a way, I say control, is really actually us progressing as Gaia becomes more in balance. We are symbiotically related to Gaia. As we become more in balance, so does Gaia. So what we see is these natural disasters in a way are actually Gaia just going back to Eden, the Garden of Eden, what was supposed to be, right? Um, what you want to call it, Shambhala, right? So this Zen-like symbiotic relationship we have. And so when I say rather control, some of us are in the ability again to control energies, right? Energy motions. That does include interference with electronics, such as cell phones and computers and even satellites for that matter. So all of that is actually playing out as we energetically become more aware of ourselves. So we do have, and some of us invited in the perception that um, there are those that want to control that within the collective and population, control the power ability. Again, you are a power that beats, right? To be. Take your power back. Do not give to a power that is, it's a power that be. Um, you are the one creating your own reality space by what you focus on. So what we bring into focus, what we focus on, is what we're bringing in. So if we focus on the things that we don't like, then we're therefore bringing the things that we don't like into our awareness, into our experience, and manifesting it into our space, as opposed to focusing on what we do want and do like. That actually helps us to align ourselves. It actually helps bring in and have in space. It actually helps align and balance Gaia itself and balance ourselves. The one thing in this space, in this world that we have control of is ourselves. To exert control on another person or being or entity means that we are not living in a divine balance and therefore also not walking in blind faith in a way, right? There was a question earlier today on one of our platforms, one of our spiritual groups, about where you place the full card in a deck. It's both at the beginning of the major arcana and at the end. It's number 0, meaning that once you reach through that full cycle of the major arcana, because there are life lessons, there are life cycles, you actually get to the end of that cycle. And I say end of the cycle because you can also start again or relearn. You become so involved in faith and blind faith, in intuition, in walking in spirit, and listening to your higher self, your inner guide, source itself, you become and embody your source in your space, that you look foolish to others as you walk, because that path is manifested for you. You don't worry, you have no doubt. To worry is to fear. To have a doubt on it, or to prep for something that isn't, again, if you're prepping for it, then you're prepping for something that you're focused on, as opposed to focusing on you don't want that in that experience, and having the ability to prep for something else, and in a way prep for a heaven space, prep for planting, for providing freedom, right? Freedom in embodying that and living it. So I'm going to start with two cards. I have the Gilded Reverie deck, and there's no book for this particular deck. This is completely intuitive. And if you're not aware, in the last few days, there's been a lot of upgrades coming through. There's a lot of visions that have come through. Energetically speaking, I know of one that I have and may have shared with somebody else, or a few people have shared, that they have also have similar to it, that energies from the sun is biggest thing that is going to be an eye opener. And the sun is also the eye of Ra, the sun, right? The ray of sunshine, is the biggest eye opener to opening up the rest of the veil, right? It is a cosmic celestial relay that is above us, that is relaying, think of it as a computer relay, information to us. That's why it's called soul and sun. So I'm going to pick two cards for each timeline template here. The left, I will go through and we'll put as the, in a way, divine, more the spiritual side, where those are holding light workers, holding space. And again, it's not to say that anything is wrong with the other side. And those that are still traversing through, again, the 3D experience, and clearing karma and such. And a lot of us do go back and forth. Again, light workers do happen to travel back and forth in between. When I say light workers, it's more or less we work in the dark. So we're more like dark workers. We're actually here to help bring that light to the dark. And we do that by going through our own darkness and lighting those areas up, shadow work within ourselves. Where it's not about imposing our perspective on a person, but to understand that there's way more perspectives. And it's okay for each person. Every person's perspective is valid, right? That's what they want to see, that's how they want to manifest. It's what they want to experience within their life. So to impose or control, again, would be to control and also dive back into karma, because now we're exerting, we're projecting onto somebody, instead of just being. We are humans of every color, being. All right, so I'm going to start. I'm just going to do two cards. The left is going to be more the light worker side, more than two. I'm going to go with the first two that came out, actually. So, left, once again, and I did shuffle these, reshuffle these. This is same to the 4th of July reading, in a way, just the left side here. This is more of the intuition, the divine feminine side. This is 29, which is 11, so a balanced number. A lot of the light workers are more into achieving balance. Again, heaven is, you can go to the extreme to this love and light mentality. There's nothing wrong with love and light. However, it is experiencing everything else in between that allows us to now be teachers of ourselves and healers of ourselves, but also healers and teachers to others if they'd like to. So this experience is, again, to go into the deep ends. If we only experience hot water our entire life, how would we know what cold is? And how would we be teachers of that and healers of that if we are only able to experience one form, in a way, right? So that is for the, let's say, a divine feminine way, more the intuitive side, the, you want to call it, again, the balanced side of things. And again, balance comes with being able to see all sides, and not just two, there's all sides, there's multiple perspectives. So what I have for the one still in a way going through karmic stuff, even again us as we dive back and forth through each template, and as oftentimes we mirror each other. Divine feminine or the light workers in a way, the intuitive side, the spiritual side, doesn't have to be feminine. Tarot doesn't actually really know masculine, feminine energies. This is talking more about a full spectrum. I have 34, which is 7. Again, an alignment is occurring. And even the waters on this one have the king of diamonds, which would be your king of coins. So an offering in a way in abundance, right? They're still in a way looking at the emotional layer, the connection to 3D, the monetary system, even in a way. So this monetary system, again, it's still being a fish under water, right? You're still looking for the hook in a way, or the next meal, or the next food. They're still swimming through those waters, in a way looking for clearer water. So 34 being 7, the active alignment is actually coming through. So as the alignment is occurring within the light workers, and we are still diving back and forth between, again, the light and the dark. And some of us are actually walking the middle path. There will be a middle section here that I will read for. Those that are want to experience more of the 3D, the abundance, the king of coins, which would be your, again, somebody who is very careful about their money. They want to, again, make sure that they have all their assets there. So somebody who very much looks at a materialistic type world. But also, if you look at the coins as being abundance, can be abundance of heart. So somebody who is very much looking to gain that abundance in the heart space, so that that which flows to them is actually not more shallow water, but clear waters. So a lot of people are starting to travel outside of that darkness, the dark, murky waters in the way, the muddy waters, the karmic waters, and start giving into alignment. So I'm going to use those two as our signifier cards. And I'm going to actually draw past, present, future here on either side. And then we'll go through the energies in the middle again and have a on each one. Or each template, because we are walking in unity, it would be a middle path. So what comes into union. And I'm actually going to draw one for that. I may actually use, I have the Akashic Record deck. And I'm actually cut it. So interesting. So for the spiritual side here, more of the, again, those that are on the light worker side that are really diligently working on their healing themselves, right? But also bringing in that balance as a past, present, future. So as a past, we have the 6 of Roses, which is the War of Roses. If you're not familiar with the Tudors and the War of Roses. So the Tudors were actually one family that couldn't decide which one was more legit to actually carry out and lead, to be the heirs of the throne in a way. Sort of, and very much so, if you ever watch Game of Thrones, very much the same kind of mentality. Now, the reason why it's the War of Roses in a way is that they're warring with themselves. Again, it's warring family, right? We're warring with ourselves for that balance in a way. We're battling ourselves. And as a past sense, that a lot of light workers have gone through this battle with themselves, their ego, right? But the royal family, if you're not aware of, was given a thorn way back, very long time ago. Again, each royal family, in a way, even right down to a lot of the Italian families, any of those, was given a thorn from the crown of roses, which again goes with the story of Christ or Yeshua by the Pope, and that was to prove their legitimacy and to actually rule it. Now, again, this wasn't proved by blood. This was something that was given as a gift to just say you're legitimate to actually do this. So this war happened in this War of Roses, and those that caught in the middle, they didn't care about. They didn't care about the peasants caught in the middle. They didn't care about the people caught in the middle. So again, this is a war between ourselves that happens in our world, that happens in our perception, that happens in our, again, light workers even do this, for 1-1, 11-11, the reflection, right? We want our ego, our wants, our desires, because we still have wants and desires. But then what do we require? What is it that we actually do need in a 3D space, right? So that's that push and pull. So I have 11 upside down, which is the Ark of the Covenant. It's a break and breach in contract in a way right now happening. So a break in a contract with the Ark of the Covenant, 11 being overturned. It's not to say we're breaking the balance in a way. It is saying I want us to really kind of look and accentuate the fact that, think of the Ark of the Covenant, again, conditions, right? And I'm not saying that they're bad or good or any of these such, but this break would be, again, to break the conditions in the now. If we are imposing a contract or an agreement on somebody, it's still a condition, especially if they don't want to participate. It is still their choice. Again, control, right? It's still their choice whether to participate or not in this particular now, because all we have is the um, memories. If you think about it, they're just memories of the past. And in fact, if we weren't there to witness it ourselves, we don't actually know what is real. Again, observable quantum space is real. So as we break in a contract, we have this break in a contract, we're actually gaining more freedom in a way. So this reflection comes in. We're actually gaining more because we're choosing to allow people to exist in the space that they're existing in, without, in a way, dictating how they should or should not. If there are people out there that do not like the current system, what's currently being taught to their children, then try homeschool. Ask the children what they would rather prefer. And then go from there, because again, every perspective has the right to choose their own existence and their own perception and their own experience. Every living thing and non-living thing in a way. So this is asking us to look at any conditions that we're in, to actually understand that we are no longer able, we do not have to carry those anchors. We do not have to do that. And this is actually part of clearing the way. So we are clearing the way for keys and unlock. And the way, this card, I like this card a lot. So this is also clearing the way, but also in clearing it is thinking outside of the normal conditions. Again, the break of contract here. This person is ready to exert all this energy to chop this tree with an axe. And I've said this quite often. Would it not be easier to unhitch the horse and tie the rope around the log and have the horse pull? And then just rehitch the horse and continue on your way to clear the way. We could exert more energy in chopping that log, or we can actually think outside the limits in terms and conditions and covenants that were previously put on us. A lot of things are up to perception. Again, how a person's perceived. A lot of even the Hammurabi codes had the eye for an eye mentality. If we did an eye for an eye, everybody would be walking around blind at this point, right? So this clearing the way, these old paradigms, they're still pervasive, they're still prevalent in our own society today. So clearing the way, again, is us clearing back any conditions, because again, even though we want union in a way, we do want this middle path to manifest. It's still a want and desire. We're not able to actually push people into it. If they want to continue to experience their lessons at this point, the way that we actually help anybody who wants to experience something different other than destruction is actually show them how not to live it by living ourselves, right? By not putting that condition. And I'm going to shuffle once again, and I'm going to cut for the other template right now. Again, they're coming into balance, right? We have 3 fish under the water here. So you have the mind, body, soul in a way. You also have, again, underwater, right? So mind, body, soul is going through an emotional transformation, a heart space transformation, but also, again, an alignment is being 34, which is 7. We break it down numerically because the numbers actually do signify the energies going on. 11 is a master number. We usually do not break it down as reflective, such as 22 and 33. Okay, so I have Paths Unknown. This is 8 of Scrolls. So this is, in a way, this is saying that the collective is going in this particular template, if they're more into the 3D, if you're diving more into your karmic ties or patterns in a way. This is saying that you may not even know that path. You may not even know your pattern in a way, right? Your subconscious. Scrolls are the ones that are writing, right? It's what we write, dictate in our time and our day. 8 of Scrolls being an infinite number, meaning that, again, it's as above, so below. It is a very balanced number in a way. This is saying that the path's unknown. It may not be advantageous in a way to take these 3D risks. It's not to cause fear. It's literally to be more calculating in where your path is going. Where would you like your path? But also being accountable for the fact that you're still in a paradigm. We are still doing this. We're still writing our path. We're still diving back and forth. We are still responsible and accountable for our own actions, choices, which lead to consequences. And if you're imposing those actions and choices onto somebody else, they're going to lead to consequences for both ourselves and that person if they accept it or keep it. So we have this in the past, this unknown path, this unknown push, right? This risk taking kind of mentality and almost this fear of not taking the risk for alignment. I have the lookout, which is 17, just another 8. So you have 8, 8. Again, we have this, it's an angelic number in a way, and it's talking about the heavenly balance. The balance also to our connection with spirit. And in reverse section, the lookout card is actually something really good. It's in a way saying, and this is for the present, it's in a way saying that the burning part of this is in a way over, right? The boat is not burning. You're in the water now. You've already made the lookout. You're kind of coasting. You're in the water. It's still a little bit turbulent, but you're coasting away to something better. You're not on the burning ship anymore, right? We have the potential possibility now to actually stand in ourselves and actually go into safer waters, find land, right? To make it to shore. So again, a lot of it is to do with emotions as well from this, again, under the water. We're talking about water here. And the fear mentality, it's actually okay to dive into it. And those that are sitting in, again, we're sitting in, a lot of us do go back and forth to want to understand our patterns. It is okay to go through our emotional layers right now. It is okay to go through even the 3D layer in a way and see, again, what is burning? And is it something I require? And is there a way to reach shore safely without having to, again, we're not on the burning ship. We don't have to get back on the ship, right? There's things that we are now able to do in the now that actually will affect and steer us away from that ship that's on fire. So the lookout part is asking, it's asking the collective to now look out, right, in a way, for that land, that safety, because it's here and we're manifesting here. So look for what we want in our experience and not focus on what we don't want. So, and this, it's funny because it came out in the last reading as well for this side. We have the light of the world. So we have the other side, again, being the light of the world. Now, if we're traveling back and forth and we dive back into that, our patterns and such, it is for us to light up and have this new beginning. 10 equals 1. So 1 plus 0 is 1. So it's the light of the world. That's literally asking you, it's knocking at the door, right? You have this open door, open window in a way. You have this enlightenment coming through. And even if you take this card as that, being the hermit on the card, right? The one that is holding the lantern, showing illumination. So a lot of times we walk through the darkness in order to get that illumination. We walk through those emotions. We sail through the burning ship, right? We go down that path unknown. We take that risk. We dive into our fear. A lot of this other template, and even if you're going back and forth and you want to experience it, is, again, what is it that we fear? What is it even in control wise? Again, we want to always be in control and have that balance. What is it is required for us to keep that balance, maintain it, right? It's to ultimately know thyself, to heal thyself, right? To have this healing. So even this other template are going through these emotional breakdown layers. They're going to these unknown fears. They're going and diving into these murky waters to find this clear water in a way to bring alignment to themselves, but also to light up as well. And the more people that we light up, the more people that we collectively manifest and focus on creation instead of destruction, we're actually bringing in a new light. We're bringing in that heaven, space, and anchor here. We're actually creating Eden here, right? We're actually bringing balance back to both Gaia, 11 is balance, and bringing it back to ourselves. Once we are in balance and we are manifesting the reality space around us, each one of us, then the reality space becomes balanced around us and we don't impose on other people. So I'm going to read the bridging in the middle, and I'm going to actually, before I do, I'm going to actually cut from the Akasha. I'll do one. And the energies in the middle, I'm going to use the Elemental Oracle deck, and then I'll give some closing messages for each side. And again, if you guys have any questions, any comments, you're free, please do comment. If you would like your own reading, let's put that down and turn that in. If you would like your own reading, you can book it with me through my email at rwatchman, MEN 24/7 at gmail.com. I will supply that within the description. This collective read is for July 7th, so 7/7, tomorrow 7/7/7. And so this reading will be for July 7th, and you are more than welcome to also request for a library reading. I do not use cards for it. I can if you'd like to, but those library readings are personal and private to each person, unless they would like them up there. I do have one up on this YouTube page where somebody was kind enough to actually allow me to do a reading for them to help with if I wanted to have it advertised, because they thought that what I was doing was something that was really good for them. And it literally is a library reading, is for me to open up your soul in a way and see any trauma, karmas, anything coming in, even messages from loved ones who are in a different timeline right now, and to bring that forth, but also give you your own, again, empower you. Here's your keys to empower you, right? To empower yourself. That is what it is. It's literally just going, here's the unlock. You can do it now. You can stand, open yourself up, because it is you, right? That's all it is me mirroring you so that you're able to understand yourself a little bit better, and to help with that healing again if you want to go back and forth, or even the building part of clearing the way for yourself. It's not a requirement, but it is something that somebody would like. You're more than welcome to message me for it through here, through Facebook. You can comment, again, email, and I will leave you any of the other descriptions on the bottom, or any other ways to contact me. You're also more than welcome to, if you'd like to donate here within the channel, I will put that PayPal link on there. You're more than welcome. They're not a requirement, but they do help in a way. So, okay, I have a change coming in. That is the middle ground message here for this particular 2 templates, right? It's one path that we're mirroring and we're walking on, right? As above, so below. One timeline in a way. And all the rest are kind of converging in. We have a change, we have a shift in it right now for both sides. 5 being changed, we have Hilarion. Now, Hilarion is a really good scholar, a teacher, but also, if you see, it's also a teacher on the spiritual side as well. So not just a 3D teacher, spiritual teacher as well. These are things coming in on both sides right now. One affects the other, as above, so below, as within, so without. So this Hilarion is a teacher. Somebody coming forth right now in a person's space, in the now, in the next few days even, that is going to help to make that bridge between both sides. One side is teaching the other side, and vice versa. And on top of it, we are crossing those paths back and forth, which helps us to, each one of us, learn. The reason and the way why we're here, is the purpose, I should say, and the way why we have so many multiple perspectives, is we are literally creation itself, creating and wanting to understand ourselves, which is the creator and trying to understand itself. So the multiple perspectives are for us to share, right? This is more or less talking about more of a bridge being built here, and that's what I feel very soon coming in. That is going to be eye-opening, and it's going to be a teacher for both sides, or both templates here that we're experiencing at the moment. So I'm going to draw now for the middle, past, present, future, and the energies on this. So I have number 4, which is connection. Actually, it's completion, sorry. So it's completion, and it's from the west, which is cardinal signal. But if you see, this is a completion that is coming in, again, a logical thing. You have this puzzle piece that fits into the brain space, and then the activation. There are a lot of activations coming in, a lot of light codes coming in, a lot of sun. Again, pay attention to the sun out there. I do not use sunblock because, again, it is natural to get energy from the sun. It is natural to get upgrades and downloads from the sun itself. It is our soul. It is our relay. It is, again, the eye of this world, right? So in a way, and this is 4, it's also protection, it's paying attention to the west. Now, the sun typically sets in the west, right? So the completion, an actual rotation. So it can even represent a day from now, but this may actually start filtering in, or a particular day in general. So this is 4. And this completion is coming in, and especially for both sides, we're coming to a completion we're coming to an understanding, a logical understanding, but also an activation that's coming in. And I say past, present, future. This is something that has been in the past being brought forward in the way. This is the change, the bridge that's coming in. We have the darkness, which is 7. This is the moon. Again, our shadow aspects of ourselves, where even though she's not, doesn't want to see herself, she's underneath her hair, right? She's in a way kind of saying hi, but she's also embracing herself. She's embracing the darkness, embracing the moon, the dark side of the moon, an eclipse, right? It's here's number 7, and again, this is for 777. 7 being again, it is July, 7 being the day, and 2023 actually equals 7 once you numerically add up those numbers. So again, we have this completion coming in, this dark side of the moon. I do believe we believe in our full moon energy. You can correct me if I'm wrong on the comments if it's new moon or full moon. Sometimes time doesn't, I don't always pay attention as well. So again, so we have 5, 4, 7. We have this bridge being, again, embracing our shadow on both sides of this particular template. Again, we are not able to walk that road, and if you're in the light side, without the darkness to hold us up, the darkness is not able to, again, people come out of the dark. That light is not on the top to bring them up. There's a merger that is happening. And so when that happens, it's actually completion in itself, and it is something new that is birthed out of here. All right, I have reversed. I have rock and its endurance. This is 20, which is 2. So this is talking about the duality in a way. And it being in reverse would mean that instead of duality and seeing 2 sides, we're now going to be seeing all aspects as one side. Again, one whole complete yin-yang. But this endurance, this rock, it's not saying that this endurance rock is not happening. It's that it's more solidified right now. Even the tree, if it's growing upside down, we're now actually looking at the roots of the tree. What are the roots that we can actually start to kind of go to the root of the issue to cut, and not just cut something that is just pruning and not understand where a blight may be on our tree, right? This is talking about to the root of the issue, right down to the root of it. Again, the darkness, the completion part. We're going right to the bottom of this and all the way to the top. If anybody had checked out, and I can post it later on, the Wish You Were Here painting I did, it actually has a world tree on it, and the roots on the other side actually do tell another story. It's not that it's destruction in a way. It's more that destruction and creation are both the same thing. They actually are. In order for something to be created, a lot of times things are to be destroyed. The egg cracks from the inside when life is about to emerge, right? So the egg itself, shell, is cracked open. So this is talking about this rock of endurance, this kind of very solid anchor in energy is now going to be uplifted. We are now starting to, again, have this freedom to come in. And this is some of the energies that are part of this bridge, right? Even the conditions that we're seeing, even on the light worker side, all these conditions, all the emotional baggage that is being felt that's heavy is now starting to be uplifted and overturned in a way. So we're seeing that energy. We're also seeing healthy growth come in. We're also seeing this very earthy energy. Earth, Gaia itself, is actually beginning to heal from the inside out as well. Again, as we heal inside, it also heals on the outside, our rest of our space. So as we are traversing through this, like as I said, focus on what the outcome, what the winning outcome, what does Eden look like to a person, right? What does it look like to have that complete freedom? How is that, what does Shambhala look like? If you're not well traversed with that type of mythology, I implore you to actually go and read about it. Again, every perspective is valid, and every mythology actually has a common thread. Every person, every story, every even perception, there's still a common thread. And it's okay to have somebody, say, challenge your perspective, but more or less to be able to give you a different perspective so that you're able to learn. It's also, again, if that person would like to learn, if they'd like to see, it's up to that person. You can't actually force them to do something or see something if they're not ready for it. It just depends on the level they're at, and again, the clearing that they're going through. Okay, so we're going to give 3 across the bottom of the starry beginnings or forget. I have, you deserve good things. This is for the ones that are, again, the light workers that are within the template that may also be diving back and forth. Again, it's number 8. So, I'm sorry, not number 8. It's number 4, it's 13. You deserve good things. Keep your focus on what you want. Basically, what we're saying. Those that are still within the light workers, star seeds, whichever you want to call them, again, focus on what we want. The good things, right? We focus on the bad things. Those are the things that keep coming into our awareness. We focus on the things we want and the steps to take to make them. And don't worry about, we want to get to step 12. We want the ending to manifest, right? Worry about what the first step is to get to the 12th step, right? What is the first step on that journey? What's the first thing that we can do that we can actually manifest into this space so that we're able to create that heaven space here? We actually have a foundation for it. And waiting on something or someone else to do it for us, that again, it's not us taking a step, it's taking our power and giving it out to somewhere else. Whereas there's other things we can do in this now that can actually facilitate that path forward for us, those steps up. So as we traverse forward, again, focus on what you want, focus on the intent in the step, the first one. And then once you get to the first one, focus on the second one. And anything that we think that we're waiting for, patient for, it's us, our higher self, saying there's something else that we can be learning in this moment, or else, or be looking at in this moment, so that we're able to, again, take a solid step forward. Each step is important because it gives us strength for the next step. So skipping steps is not advisable, so I wouldn't advise it. I would say take every single one, experience every experience. And then you begin to understand yourself and you begin to understand other people around you and why the things that are being done are being done. Okay, so I have number 9, which is another completion. You are the breath. Listen and connect to your intuition. So this is telling the more logical 3D side of what you're seeing, again, 3D wise. To come to completion, you are the breath. Breathe in the now. Listen and connect to your intuition. So take that moment, especially if you're going through other shadow work, a lot of us still are. It's the way to upgrade. Listen to what you're breathing. Listen to your now. Listen and look at your pattern. Look in the mirror. And connect your intuitive side, which again will bring you back more towards the light side here, the light work for the intuitive side, the spiritual side. And then you can also rebalance right in the middle here. So I'm going to give a card right in the middle for what's the bridge here. What is good and true for the entire collective. There are universal truths, there are multiversal truths, right? I am a universe. You out there, each one of you are a universe, right? And since we are collecting together to listen, to manifest together, we are now a multiverse because we're a multitude of universes right now. So we're a multiverse. We're each mirroring each other in perspective, right? And if something comes into my experience, there's something that we wrote into our experience. I wrote it in, and why am I experiencing it? What is the lesson? So when you look at things as being a lesson, as an observer, and not take it personally, then you begin to actually see where the lesson is, and you begin this growth pattern, right? Okay, I understand. So let me therefore move a different way. Let me grow a different way. Let me take that in as a lesson. Okay, so I have 29, which is 11 here. Enjoy where you are, for soon you will be somewhere else. And this is, in a way, talking about this completion, this unity. Enjoy where you are in any path, on any which way that you are deciding and experiencing and perceiving right now, because where you're at right now, enjoying it and bringing joy to every situation, you'll be somewhere else too. You'll have another experience. We've had a talk today earlier about, again, happiness. We'd like to hold on to it, right? But it's fleeting, just as anger. Some people are just frightened of anger. It is fleeting. Each emotion is fleeting. Each now, in a way, is fleeting. So if you are enjoying, though, any aspect of it, the fact that maybe you have a job and others don't. You have a house, others don't. In fact, maybe in an experience or relationship, in love with somebody, in love, and others may not enjoy those experiences that you're in, right? You can always look at it from the bitter side of it, the resentment side of it, and then ask yourself, why do you feel that? Why do you feel bitterness or resentment? And it's something that we can change. Right. So that is our closing message for the collective right now, and how this is actually going to start. Again, it's merging together. Um, each side of this, we are going to be somewhere else soon. We always are somewhere else soon. Nothing is ever done exactly the same over and over again. It is slightly different. And are ways for us to teach and learn from each other, and to teach and learn for us, for each other, right? So, um, thank you for allowing me to do the reading. And like I said, I will put my information up if you would like private readings. Um, I can also do card readings as well. I do have them priced at $11.11 for about 15-minute read. Um, and you're more than welcome to, again, join in. Please leave a comment, like, share this around. I will be doing more of these collective readings once a day and uploading them. And I will actually be doing a little bit more lives on our Facebook page, Relatively Speaking 2020. So if you are interested in catching any of those, I can put the times and dates up when I do decide to. I'm in a flow state, so I go from each side again and enjoy the nap. And much love to the rest of you guys, all right?